Alright, welcome back to the channel everyone. Today we're going to do two small maintenance items. One is a replacement engine hatch switch and the other is a replacement fuel door spring. So my car, the spring on the fuel door does not work well. I'll show you in a second, but it barely pops out the fuel door, so I bought a new one. This should be very straightforward and easy. This one should be not too bad either, but this one catches out a few people just because of the way the spring or this clip, I guess, is attached, and because it's kind of hidden right between the interior panel and this latch. So this is just a quick look at what you need to do. This C-clip keeps this piece connected to the rod that's sticking out, and you basically need to stick a pick in here and pull this out. So take a quick look at it. This is what you're gonna need to do. Mine's actually missing this C-clip, so I'll show you once it's on the car how to remove it, but I can't show you immediately. So I'm going to install this and then I'll show you how it's done with a pick. You have to basically slide it in there and fish it out. And of course, here are the part numbers. So it should be easy. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, now for the engine hatch. It's good idea to take a quick look at the anatomy of this thing. Basically, of course, this is up and this is down. And you'll see here that there's two slots up 180 degrees. One's up at the very top, one's at the very bottom in this kind of cylinder piece right here. So those two slots are where you're going to slide this. After you put this piece over the peg that's in the chassis, which I'll show you in a second, you're going to slide this clip into the two slots like that. And it's going to lock in this whole piece around this peg sticking out of your chassis. And so that's important to note because you need to know like where you're fishing, and you need to make sure that your latch is on straight. And then of course, you're going to stick a pick in there and then just kind of pry it out like that. So it might go flying like that in the chassis, so make sure that your car is clean and that you don't lose this piece. I've gone without this piece for years, so it's not necessarily necessary, but your latch will definitely just fall off without it if you're not careful. So let's go ahead and show you the peg inside the car right now. All right, so here is the peg sticking out from inside the car. And of course this latch sits on here. You can see this peg has kind of squared off sides. So it kind of only sits on there at certain angles. So it's not very hard to align it. So it sits on there like that, and then you're gonna have to slide this into the side. Pull it off again really quick. You can see that there's a groove in the middle of this peg, and that's where this C-clip is going to lock in. So I'm going to install it. Okay, this is the best angle I can give you guys without having my hand being in the way. If I put the camera over near the back wall, my hand will just be in the way. So this latch is going to go all the way back until it stops. And you're going to want to remember that slot that was in the back of this latch. It's right up against the back of, well, remember this slot. The up and down slot is right up against the back of this piece. So you're going to have to, I'm putting this in, I'm going to hold it with my finger up against the back of this thing. Remember, the positioning is going to be perfectly in the middle of top and bottom because it's going sideways. And you might need a flathead. You might need something like this to help push it. I can still see from the front angle that the clip is kind of sticking out. So there, pushed it in. It's secure, it's snapped in. You just heard it snap and it works. So now I'm going to show you, probably you guys are more interested in how to remove it. Since the clip is very hidden now. So this is why it's a good idea to have an idea of what you're looking at, because you're going to have to kind of do this blindly. So I'm going to feel behind here. I can't even see from my angle. I'm further forward than the camera is because the camera is wedged between my seat and the back, and I'm going to fish it in here, kind of try to hook. There it is. So my clip just popped out into my chassis, and here's the clip. So that's how you remove this. All you need is kind of one of these hook picks and maybe a flathead to install it. Let's go ahead and install it again. Once again, this piece is kind of square, so you can only install it, like if you install it again, you can install it this way, but that's not going to do you any good, right? All the way in. The flathead. Pull it out. I pulled this piece out a little bit so I could hear it click in to place. And that's it. So hope that's valuable for you all on the engine lid latch. A lot of questions about how to get that clip out. So it's pretty easy again. So just need the right tools. Really quick important note, you saw the clip fly out when I both showed it to you on my workbench and when I removed it on the car. You want to make sure that if you want to be extra careful, cover areas like that where there's openings in the carpet if you have something like that, or if you maybe have a stock seat where there's not as much room under it as there is in mine to reach underneath. You may want to put like a blanket here or something like that just to catch it, because a 5-minute job could turn into 20-minute job if you have to take out your seats or anything like that, or if you don't even know how to take out your seats, could turn into a multiple day job. So just a tip, be careful about where, take precautions about that clip flying out. Here's a look at my fuel door. Let's pull the latch and you can see how much it does pop out or doesn't pop out. So you can see here that barely pops out. I can still get it open with my fingernails. Pull it out like that. But essentially it's going to be as easy as probably loosening these two bolts right here and then pulling this spring out. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and loosen this 10 mil a little bit. Maybe the bottom one as well. Not all the way. That should be enough. Pull this out. Let's grab the new one. The new one is black, which is nice, where the original one was silver in my case. So it looks like there is basically a centering piece in the center that looks like it'll line up right with this hole. So I'm going to push that into place. Keeps it from kind of moving, or should keep it from moving up and down. So your fuel door has a little bit of up and down movement. I should have mentioned that it's probably a good idea to mark the alignment, but not a big deal. You can kind of play with the alignment after the fact. And note, these bolts of mine don't look OEM. So I'm going to do it loosely. Do mine loosely. It looks like mine's a little bit too high. Push it down a little bit. You're gonna have to order the OEM bolts to replace these. This bothers me. There needs to be a flange bolt in here. All right, let's go ahead and try. Oh, much better. You can see how much it opens, and that's how it's supposed to be. So I'm gonna tighten these up a little bit. Get another angle. Let's try it again. Nice. All right, next up I'm going to install a new trunk seal. This should be the same part number for all NSXs. I wouldn't think there'd be a different part number for other, depending on the year. So here it is. I think most of you guys are adept at installing something like this, so I'm just going to put you on a tripod and show you how it's done. All right, so I'm not quite sure if this is bent in any way, preformed. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start installing it. And at least on mine, there's two sides to this. So there's a piece side with the long area or tall area right here. And the other side, there's a side with a short area and a little bit of lip right here. So I'm gonna put this side on the outside perimeter. All right, so that's it. So a couple of things to note is the plastic pieces that are underneath the carpet. It has a hook design. Some of mine are broken on the sides, which is why there's a gap. But in the center, at least mine works. So there's a hook. You gotta hook it over the lip of the chassis, and then it'll hang on. And then you put this seal over it. And yes, this short side with this lip does go on the inside because this lip is what covers the inside of your interior. So you gotta pull this out and tuck this carpeted part underneath this lip. So the last note that I have for you is that when it's brand new, you probably saw me do it, you kind of have to stretch it out a little bit. So stretch it out evenly. You don't want to make it all bunched up and when you first install it, and then stretch out only one corner or one side or something like that. Stretch it out a little bit evenly so it's not putting too much pressure just in one spot, and then it'll go on and you just push it down. So that's it for the trunk seal install. Replacing this bracket is such a knuckle buster. That's the bracket that holds those two fuel lines right there from rubbing on a little piece of the firewall. Mine is broken. There's supposed to be, this piece on the bottom is supposed to be a U shape. My hand, so messed up. Just trying to fit that in because I didn't understand how this worked on my fuel pump install. And I didn't understand that it was a U shape and that it needed to pull up and out. So I just broke it off. So no video for this one, just a warning for your knuckles. And here's a part number in case you needed it.